Welcome back into the Sports Source. Very quickly, guys, a couple of hot read topics for you. Florida was found guilty this week of an NCAA violation, a major violation. They are not going to have any more penalties imposed because they self-sanctioned and they got rid of Joker Phillips, who had gone and spoken to a prospect at a time when you weren't supposed to speak to prospects. Interestingly enough, it was a Florida recruiting service that actually went with him, which is an odd situation. But for the first time, it's the first time since 1990 that Florida has any kind of violation, major violation. Now the longest streak in the conference is Vanderbilt, dating back to 92. But half of the SEC's programs, that's 7 of the 14, have had a major violation since 2006. Mike Slive came in saying, I want to clean things up. For a long time he did. Legacy now. Did he clean things up in the end?
Boy,
Quickly.
I'm going to say that, yes, he did clean things up in the end. I just think that when you've got a conference that 14 teams, I just think things are going to happen. So I think Slive did clean things up, and I don't look at this as losing control, but I do also think it dings his legacy just a little bit.
Well, I'm having trouble seeing you clean it up when half of them have been with major violations. Secondary violations, I can go with that. When you got that many with majors, I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say nobody can clean it up.
He made a nice charge of it. There was a period there where
he almost got to 5 years.
The Arkansas track team was the only team on probation. It was an amazing feat in itself.
At the end of the day, he's going to be remembered for national titles, this League One, and not these NCAA problems.
Good lead in question number 2 here. I think he'll be remembered for money. But the SEC network was not expected. The SEC did not project financial windfalls to come in until year 3 of the SEC network. But South Carolina Athletic Director Ray Tanner said on Friday that the league is already looking like it will bring in $5 million per school as a conservative estimate in year 1. If true, UT should go from about $22 million in Destin this year to about $26, $27, $28 million. Not a bad payday in the grand scheme of things. Football championships, keeping teams on probation, off probation, whatever. Isn't this what the legacy of Mike Slive is going to be? The SEC network and TV contracts in general? Because he kept setting the bar nationally. To me, when we look back at the age of Slive, it's going to be the era of big money.
I think that's true, but I also think you can marry that with football. I think the reason you got to the big money is your success in football.
Yeah, I was thinking one begat another kind of.
Yeah, I think they go together. So I would say probably the combination of the two, but no doubt the TV money, the SEC network. And, they waited, several years after the Big Ten had started their network to try to look and see what's the best way to approach this. They didn't jump right in. They wanted to see all the different things and make sure when they launched it, they would have a pretty good idea of where they were going.
And the Big Ten didn't make a lot of money its first few years either until it partnered with Fox in a 51-49 kind of a deal. So I think it was wise for Slive to take his time on that. In terms of the football leading the way, I agree that football is always popular in the South, but it's important to remember when those big contracts with ESPN and CBS were signed, it was 2008. Your championship run of 6 or 7 straight just started in 2007.
But Chuck, we were wrong.
No. I'm saying, football's always popular in the South. We know that. Your thoughts? Is Slive's legacy cash?
Yeah, I think it is cash. I mean, it's obvious when you're sitting there talking about the kind of what you just said. Tennessee's going to have a payday that could be up around $28 million. Yeah. I mean, how many years do you have to go back to where that was all the money Tennessee athletics would make? Less than 2 decades.
Yeah, and I also think there's
and now you're talking about this. So
I think there's a sports legacy and I think there's a business legacy, and they go hand in hand. And you could probably juggling act which one is really the most important.
I bet the school presidents would tell you the business legacy. All right. When we come back, it's Oscar night. We have an Oscar-themed question for you regarding UT sports. Come on back and find out who the winner is.
Like our set? Turn to Benedict Construction.